sea shanties are rhythmic working songs of the sea. They are not sung by the Royal Navy. The Navy never sang sea shanties. A lot of people think they did. Other songs were sung on Royal Navy ships through the many years of history, but sea shanties started on merchant ships, vessels that would be taking tea from China to England, taking packages across the Atlantic from Liverpool to New York. And these were the sailing ships. And when you were on board a sailing ship, it's heavy work hoisting the yard up the mast, pushing the capstan to raise the anchor, pumping to empty the bilges from the water out of the ship so it stays afloat. All of that is really hard, heavy work. And it required men, and it was men, to work hard together, large groups of men. So shanties were sung only for the purpose of doing work, rhythmic working songs, so that people could put maximum effort into doing the work, whether it was hauling on a rope or pushing on the capstan bars, that sort of thing. So that's what shanties originated as, working songs of the sea.
Evans of the Blue Star Line.
Hey, ho, are you most done?
She's never a day behind.
When the days of sail stopped in the early 1900s, steam ships took over in the late 1880s, and the days of sail died out more or less completely by the 1920s. The days of sail properly had stopped, like the horse and carts and handing over to the car. Now, there were people who collected shanties and passed them down. And we know how to sing these because of that oral tradition that has been passed on by people who bothered to collect these shanties. And we are continuing that oral tradition by collecting shanties, knowing how they're sung, learning how to do it, and we're passing that on. And we're hoping that it will be multi-generational, that, when I'm gone, that there will be still a King's Pond Shanty group, and that there will be new members, younger ones, taking on that tradition, because it's great fun. It would be a shame to lose it.
Captain is the king of captains, oh.
Ho, adi-ta-na-na, we are somebody, oh.
We're at the Admiralty pub, just outside Trafalgar Square, right on the corner of Trafalgar Square, in the shadow of Nelson's Column. And this pub, it's a Fuller's beer pub, and they do quite a lot of Navy nights. And this night is about the death of the tot, which was when in 1970, the rum tot ration, the Navy stopped giving it out to sailors on board Royal Navy ships. And that had been going since 1650, actually. So that was an end of about a 350-year tradition. And every year since then, on the 31st of July, the death of the tot has been commemorated. Not celebrated, it's more like a funeral, really. But we're here to mourn the death of the tot and to sing a few sea shanties while we do that.
Rock them blocks and make them cry.
Roll the cotton down.
The bloody topmast sheaf is dry.
Oh, roll the cotton down.
So it's not entirely global. There are certain countries, seafaring countries. Poland has got a fantastic tradition of sea shanties. Germany, America, and there was a lot of interchange between, because the shipping was going all around the world. So there were a lot of exchanges between different sailing groups in different countries, and they learnt each other's shanties in ports and so forth. So the shanties travelled around the world. It's a really interesting thing. So it was quite an international activity with different flavours. And another important aspect of some of the shanties is that quite a lot of them came from African songs, which turned into slaver songs in the south of America, south of the United States of America. And those songs filtered down into the ports, the cotton ports, and then they spread out across the oceans. So there's a lot of West African rhythms and influences and tunes in the shanty songs.
Way down in Florida,
We're the bullies to kick her through.
and we'll roll the woodpile down. Rolling, 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 rolling the whole world round.
there are all-female shanty groups. There are groups with men and women in. As you've seen in our group, we have people from their 80s down to their 20s in the group. So people join our group on request. We don't turn them away. If they ask to join and we've got room, they can join us. We don't audition, but they know if they fit in, they come along to practice, and some people come along and they stay and they become part of the group, and it becomes part of their life, really a big part of your life, because there's a community. We meet every Monday, and it's more than just the singing. There's a whole friendship and support really around it. So it's very community focused in many respects. And whilst we're an all male group, as I said, it is really for anybody who wants to sing. Sure.
Stormy's now been laid to rest. We storm along, John.
Yeah, so John Hancock's was the guy who set up the King's Pond Shantymen, and he set it up with about 4 or 5 people who had been in a Morris dancing group. He was interested in all kinds of folk activity. And then Roger in our group, and another guy called Simon, and Don, who's in our group today. They were the original core of that group, and I joined a bit later. John passed away, but we've continued that tradition. He gave up being captain of the group actually about 8 or 9 years ago, and various other people took on that role of being the lead of the group. And I think he would be really pleased that, we've continued the tradition that he established, and it's not just reliant on one person being the leader. We are now a robust, group. We have resilience, and we can pass on the way that we sing and that tradition through the group to new members, and hopefully they'll pass it on. It's a mustard or Marmite thing, rather. It's a Marmite thing. Some people really cannot get it. They do not like the idea of people singing without musical instruments, plucking a note out of the air and just bursting into song. To some people, they don't get that at all and they don't like it. Other people just absolutely get it. And what is marvellous about sea shanty singing is that it's really good for you. You have to remember the words, you have to be able to pick a tune, you have to sing with other people, you have to listen. Actually, the more you listen to other people, the better it sounds. It can take a lot of practice for the group to gel together and make a good sound. So for me, just the whole business of singing shanties is very life affirming. And as I said before, it's not just about the singing, it's about being with people and singing together, which is known to be very good for mental health and for physical health as well, for breathing and all of that kind of thing. And I'm sure the older members of our group really want to keep going because it helps them keep going. It's great.